Hi everybody. It's a nice day out here today. The sun's not out right now. It's kind of overcast, but it kind of looks like it might rain any minute, but I don't think it's in the forecast. But it's halfway cool out here, and this is late afternoon. So today I got my yard mowed, the whole acre mowed, and it looks so good when it's mowed. I love it. I wore my hat today so I wouldn't get too hot because it was sun beating down on me today. Woo, it was warm. So I'm sitting out here in my garden, and I thought I'd come and talk to y'all for a few minutes. You know how adults always think they're so much smarter than kids? Now, rightfully so. They should be, to a certain degree. I mean, they've had all that education, they've had all those life experiences, but sometimes your kids might be just smarter than you. When it comes to just instinctively knowing what's right and what's wrong, not being taught what's right or wrong, but what's inside that you know is wrong or right. I remember when I was about 8 years old, we were members of a Baptist church. Now, I took y'all not too long ago on a little trip, and I went back to the church that I grew up in as a child, and I was baptized in. And it was a small church, but we had packed pews every Sunday. There were quite a few folks there, but it was just not a big church. Well, adjoining the sanctuary were our classrooms where we had Sunday school and evening classes and choir practices and so forth. And so right after Sunday school was over, we'd go out into the sanctuary where we would have our regular service, our sermon. So when I came out of Sunday school, I made it my job to go and turn the little lamp on that was over the piano. Now, everybody knew everybody in that church, knew all their names, knew where they lived, been to their homes, taken dinners when someone passed away. We knew everybody, kids, everybody. So I would come out and I would turn on Sandra's lamp on her piano because she played all the hymns through the service. Well, I came out of Sunday school that morning, and I turned on the lamp, but it didn't come on. So I already checked it out before anybody came in the sanctuary. I already knew what was wrong. It was a burned out bulb. Sorry, I saw a car pass by and I thought it was my son. Anyway, it was a burned out bulb. So when other people started filing in, somebody went over there to turn on the light, and it wouldn't come on. And they just looked at it. There were about 3 men standing around. And they saw the cord on the floor, and they literally walked along the cord, walking along to see where it was plugged in. Now, how hard was that to just go over to the plug on the wall and see whether it's plugged in or not, instead of gingerly following it with your eyes? And I spoke up and I said, "The bulb's burned out." And they just laughed at me. Like, aren't you a silly kid? Aren't you silly? But yet there they were, following that cord along till they got to the end and saw that indeed it was plugged into a wall. Well, I don't guess I was so stupid after all, was I? And then I remember the time when I was 12 years old, and my family went to Yellowstone National Park. Oh, it was wonderful. We had pictures in front of Old Faithful, and the Old Faithful Inn where the fireplace was in there, where a man could stand up and reach his arms just as high as they could go and not even touch the top of that fireplace. I'll never forget that. It was made of rock, and it was gorgeous. And of course we went along the roads, and we saw the elk and the deer and the bears. So we were going along, and there was a long line of cars, and suddenly when we turned the corner, everybody had stopped. It was a long line. But out on the road was a mother bear and her cubs. Now y'all know now, you don't mess with the mama bear and her cubs. I mean, you just don't. You don't get out to take pictures. You don't aggravate them. You don't bother them. There I am. I'm 12. I'm sitting in the back seat. Well, we had one of those 1959 Chevrolets that had those great big fins on the back. I know y'all know what I'm talking about. It was brand new when we got it. And it had those little windows in the front passenger and the driver's side. Those little V-shaped windows that you could kind of open. They swiveled, you know, and they let some air flow through because the car wasn't air conditioned. Well, those little windows were open. And so this mother bear comes walking up to the car. And she's we're looking at her. We're looking over. We've got the windows rolled up, of course, except for that little bitty window that's open, that little triangle window where my daddy was sitting driving the car. And we're watching that bear, and she comes up and she sticks her nose in that little triangle-shaped window. Now I'm sitting in the back seat and I'm watching all this stuff. And my kid brain is saying, either close the window or just be really still and don't do anything. Don't do anything. But she was big, and she had her little cubs. Now my daddy, God bless his soul, I loved him. And he was the smartest man I ever knew. But this day he wasn't so smart. This day he took a big old puff off his cigarette and he blew that smoke in that bear's face. And that bear got mad. And that bear swiped at that little old window and he broke that whole window off. That little triangle window, broke it off. He was mad. She was mad. I didn't mean he. I meant she. Mama Bear was mad for doing that. And I'm in the back seat and my eyes are big as saucers. And I'm thinking, oh my God, she's going to crash through our doors, through our windows, and we're goners. We're goners. Well, suddenly the line of cars started going, and my daddy, man, he put his foot on that accelerator and he got out of there. But I ask you, how smart was that? You have a car full of your family. You've got kids in the back seat, and you are blowing smoke in a mama bear's face. Now, I knew better than to do that. I was 12 years old. I knew better than to mess with a mama bear. I know when there's a burned out light, and I was 8 years old. I didn't have to follow the cord all the way to the wall to see whether it was plugged in or not. Sometimes kids are smarter than adults, but we're the only ones that know it. That's sort of not fair, is it? I'm telling you, I'm sure there are more of these things. I'll think of them again another time. Maybe I'll report back. Today, that's all I have to say. I hope y'all have a great day. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.